Thank you, everybody, for coming today on what is a historic day for the city of Lowell and UMass Lowell. If you look around the room and you see the cross-section of the community that's here, it demonstrates how well we all work together to achieve not only what's best for the university, but what's best for the entire city. So we've got a few folks here who are going to speak. It's my great pleasure to introduce our chancellor, Jackie Maloney, who, believe it or not, has just started her third year as chancellor. And I know it may seem it's taken 3 years to sign this agreement, but it's actually, it's a great agreement. Other folks will go into a little bit more detail. It helps to solidify what already is a very unique partnership. Jackie Maloney, as our chancellor, she's lives and breathes UMass Lowell and also the city of Lowell, which she feels very passionately about as well. Not only is she committed to excellence in everything we do and has led the way for a dramatic transformation, which her predecessor, Marty Meehan, started. And she's continued that and has worked very closely with the city, and as a result of that, we've got a lot of great things to talk about today. So please join me in welcoming our Chancellor, Jackie Maloney.
Thank you, Patty, for those kind remarks. It's really such a phenomenal experience to walk in this room and see this group assembled to celebrate the signing of this very historic agreement. Thanks for everyone for coming, taking time out of your summer schedule. I hope you enjoyed your summer as much as I have. It's been beautiful. The manager and I thought it was important to bring everyone together to really share in this moment, the people who helped to make it happen, the people in this room. You made this master agreement happen, and we wanted to share this moment with you. And no, it really didn't take us 3 years, Kevin. It was long, but it wasn't that bad, was it? But you are an amazing group of people, and this city always stands together. At the end of the day, we always find the common ground, the right path forward to find these mutually beneficial partnerships. And I look at this room and see some of the great partners that we have in the city. And honestly, it was with great delight that I walk around the room and eavesdrop on the different conversations. Like the dean of our College of Honors, Jim Canning, kibitzing with Jay Linehan, the head of our Greater Lowell Community Foundation, thinking about the next scheme they have to create a new partnership, a new twist in how the university and, again, the Community Foundation can work together. I know Celeste Bernardo is here, the superintendent of our great National Historic Park. Celeste has been a great partner for UMass Lowell. Celeste, where are you? So we can thank you for everything you do for the city and for the National Park. And no surprise when I walked in the room, the president of Middlesex Community College, who took time from his busy schedule to be here, but we all know Jim Mabry now, and within 3 minutes he said, "But we have to talk." And he wants to talk about the next generation of what we're going to do together to partner with the city. It's really a remarkable time for all of us. So you are amazing people. You are a gift to this community. It's you who elevate the city and the university. Kevin and I also thought it was important to go on the record with this master agreement to document for the citizens of this great city and the members of our university community just how committed we are to each other's success, a commitment anchored in good faith and the determination to achieve what is best for both of our institutions. To summarize, this agreement today formalizes close to $8 million in voluntary payments that the university will make to the city to support mutually beneficial projects for our institutions over the next 20 years. Included in that commitment is a $3 million match to the Tiger Grant that will renovate 6 failing canal bridges in this city. And I'd like to thank Senator Markey, who is here today with us, for his important role in getting that federal funding. And I'm also going to acknowledge him later, but thank you so much for all you did in getting that Tiger Grant funding. It also represents a $1.5 million contribution to renovate this important parking garage here at the ICC that we share with the city. Includes a new lease for LaLasha Park and voluntary contributions the university will make to the renovation of its fields. And I would especially like to thank and acknowledge Dana Skinner from the university and Bob Healy from the city for helping to bring that lease to closure. Thank you both for your important work. But I think as important for me and the manager is what this agreement demonstrates is our willingness to go deep, to partner, to build relationships among our teams, to help our teams to find the right path to do what is right for the city and right for the university, like the great work of the LPD and the Umass Lowell PD, working together to make this community safer. Because they are working together, they are solving many of the city's challenges with safety. I'd also like to thank the administrators of our respective teams, those administrators from the city and those from the university who worked so hard to drill down on the detail of this agreement. And we know that they, in sitting down, are always trying to find what's best for their institution first. And that's absolutely their job, and they do the right thing. But what's great about these teams is many of them share a passion for the city and for the university and recognize that when each of us does well, the other does even better. I'd also like to personally thank my predecessor, Marty Meehan, who really led the way in showing how the university could and should partner with the city and really initiated some of the important parts of the agreement that are here. Of course, City Manager Kevin Murphy, who I'll introduce in a minute. Thank you for your leadership in representing the city's interests and participation in this agreement. To Mayor Ed Kennedy, you've really been a champion for the city. Thanks to you and the City Council for your important work and for showing the courage that we all needed to get this agreement in place. And of course, to my good friend, State Representative Dave Nangle, you've been an amazing champion for all of us. Thank you for all that you do for bringing the resources that really needed resources to make this agreement possible. And especially recently for getting the supplemental funding that we needed to make sure this Tiger Grant goes forward. And to State Senator Eileen Donahue, my good friend, for your leadership on economic development in the state of Massachusetts, your advocacy for public higher education across the state, and articulating the important role that we in public higher education make, which is distinct from our colleague private institutions, but Senator Donahue has been there arguing, making the argument for public higher education, and thank you also for working with Representative Nangle and getting that important supplemental funding that we needed to make the Tiger Grant possible. Thank you both for all that you've done. Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas, who could not be here, also played a major role, and representing her is Phil Jeffroy, who we're very proud of, who works in Nikki's office, who's a graduate of UMass Lowell. Phil, thank you for being here to represent Congresswoman Tsongas. I would also like to thank the Lowell Spinners and members of the university community and also the city community, again, for all your support to make this agreement possible. That having been said, it's now my honor to introduce my good colleague and partner, City Manager Kevin Murphy. You come up. You should have been up here with me at the beginning. Now, the truth is, What I found out about this guy, kind of knew by reputation, he is a very tough negotiator. That might be why it took us close to a year. Kidding. But the truth is, he's also a master of compromise, and I dare say he probably learned that and the great service he gave to this community as a state representative. Now our city manager, Kevin Murphy.
Thank you very much. Geez, I just realized after hearing all that money the city's getting, I did a better job than I ever thought, Jackie. That was great. No, first of all, thank you, Chancellor Maloney, for those kind words and including me in this historic moment, as you said. This first-of-a-kind formal agreement addresses matters such as financial, public safety, public works, civic initiatives, and planning issues. This agreement is an evolving step in the partnership and collaboration between the City of Lowell and Umass Lowell. First and foremost, I want to thank Mayor Edward Kennedy, City Councilor William Samaras, and the entire City Council for their guidance as to the issues of priority for the city, and for their courtesy and trust in me in allowing me to negotiate this agreement on the terms most beneficial to the City of Lowell. Without your support, we would not be here today. Thank you, City Council. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Bob Healy for his involvement in it to fruition. Without his adroit negotiation of final leases with the Lowell Spinners and Umass Lowell, we would not be here today. Bob, great job. And Dana Skinner, you did a great job too. It may have taken us a year and a half to negotiate this agreement, but those two negotiated the final lease, I think, in 2 meetings, wasn't it? So great job. Today is just the beginning. I vow to make the partnership between the City of Lowell and the university even stronger in the future, and I am committed to that. Thank you. Mayor Edward Kennedy. Mayor Kennedy is a lifelong resident of Lowell and has long been a UMass Lowell supporter. After 4 terms as a council member in the late 1970s and 1980s, we again benefited from Mayor Kennedy's expertise following his election to the council for a 5th term in 2011 and his elevation to mayor in 2016. Mayor Kennedy, thank you so much for your support and your presence here today.
Thank you very much, Manager Murphy. The City of Lowell is a city of partnerships, and no partnership is more important than the collaborative relationship between the city and the University of Massachusetts in Lowell. There is no question that UMass Lowell helps make Lowell a better place. Together, the city and the university have made a thriving center for education, entertainment, and economic development. Lowell is a city where you can go from kindergarten to a PhD without leaving the city limits. And the university has also attracted scholars from across the globe to visit our city and provide opportunities for learning and engagement. Lowell is a hub for world-class sports and entertainment, thanks in part to the Sanger Center at UMass Lowell. And although the Innovation Hub and M2D2 UMass Lowell has played a key role in the ongoing emergence of the Hamilton Canal Innovation District, many new businesses in the city, from the smallest startup entrepreneurs to major technology companies, have cited the presence of UMass Lowell as an attractive reason to locate in the city of Lowell. This master agreement is the result of several months of thoughtful discussions and thorough consideration. And with this plan, I am confident that the city and the university will continue to grow together and move forward in a productive way for all of our residents and students alike. I want to commend all the participants in the negotiations on their hard work in coming to this agreement, which I strongly feel will help move our community forward in a very positive way. State Representative Nangle has presented Lowell and UMass Lowell in the State House for nearly 2 decades. He's a tireless advocate for our region, and I know supports the ongoing collaboration between the city and the university. And I'd like to take at this time welcome Representative Dangle. Thanks.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today in person, I might add, to offer congratulations to Manager Murphy and Chancellor Jackie Maloney for working out a deal that is mutually beneficial for all of us, the residents of the city of Lowell. As I was standing here talking to Manager Murphy earlier today, it brought me back to about a little over 7 years ago, and there was a historic day on that particular day where we weren't sitting at a table like this, but Kevin, you remember, and Eileen, I think you had just started at the time, and we had an historic agreement where the university purchased the Tsongas Arena and has turned that into a wonderful facility these days. But there was something that happened on that particular day that Marty Meehan was supposed to give City Manager Bernie Lynch a dollar bill that day. Marty never gave it to him. So Jackie, I'm going to present this to you before I leave here today. It came out of Marty's wallet, so I think there's some mothballs on it. So we'll have to look for that. But I really want to give the Chancellor, Jackie, a great deal of credit for her willingness to sit down with the city and put something forward that clearly spells out the financial commitment the university is willing to help offset the impact on the taxpayers of the city of Lowell. Now, some of you may know that there's a conversation that I'm very much involved in recently down at the State House. And it's how to get large nonprofits involved in their host communities. We are talking about legislation intended to get very large, very profitable organizations that fall under the definition of a large nonprofit to contribute financially in a more equitable manner. We are trying to figure out a way to create some fairness and parity and require nonprofits that have substantial assets and large real estate holdings to come to the table in their cities and towns which are in dire need of real estate revenue. Now, I've said all along that my bill is aimed at engaging the large nonprofits to recognize their responsibility in supporting the community. Manager Murphy and I have had numerous discussions about this. And Kevin, I want to give you a lot of credit for staying the course, going forward. As Jackie said, you're a very tough negotiator, and we know that down at the State House. But you're fair and equitable in everything that you do. So I give you just as much credit as I do to Jackie for putting this together. And I hope that this can become a model for all across this Commonwealth for some of these other large nonprofits that have large assets and are very profitable to step forward in their host communities. I think we all realize that as the university does well, the city does also, and vice versa. It's no surprise to me that UMass Lowell is the first to step up and participate in a meaningful discussion, and I can only hope that this will set the bar for the rest of the state. Thank you, and congratulations, Jackie, to you and Kevin on an historic day. Thank you. I was so distracted about getting Jackie that dollar bill that I forgot to introduce my very good dear friend and a great friend to the city of Lowell, and someone that has done a fantastic job in the last 7 years as our state senator here. And I happen to know the district very well. It goes out to Pepperell and Westford and Groton and Tingsboro and all the way back around. But she is a tireless advocate, as Jackie mentioned, for higher education, economic development. She was the chairperson of that committee there when there was a $1 billion bond bill that was put together under the economic development. She's a great friend of ours, a great friend to have here in the city of Lowell, and that's our great state senator, Eileen Donahue.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Well, I think so much has already been said, but I can't stress enough how proud I am to represent the city of Lowell down on Beacon Hill, to have the University of Massachusetts Lowell located right here in the city. I know David and Kevin before him can attest to the fact that Lowell truly is looked at as a model and a leader not just of gateway cities, but across the Commonwealth and beyond. And so it does give us great pride to come here today to see, once again, carving new land, coming up with an agreement that, sometimes we start to take these things for granted. Well, this must happen everywhere. Well, people must come together and offer millions of dollars of support for mutual benefit. The truth is, and the fact is, it does not happen everywhere, and it only happens with great partnership, great courage, and great leadership. So I want to commend both Chancellor Maloney and Manager Murphy for a job very well done. As a national leader in higher education and an important driver of our region's economy, we in the city are so proud of the University of Massachusetts Lowell. But we also recognize that the university knows how fortunate it is to be located here in our vibrant city. This is an exceptional community. The city and the university have grown together and have really intertwined where they have mutual interests. And it's so impressive to see that happen when public higher education comes together with the public good in a community. Today's announcement further cements this special relationship, and it demonstrates that the University of Massachusetts Lowell and the City of Lowell have for each other the respect and the aspirations for both. This mutual benefit, this is the agreement that's reflected here of the city and the university, working together can create the best possible outcome, and it will help ensure that Lowell can continue to be the gateway city that is the model city of success for Massachusetts and throughout the country. I want to offer my sincere congratulations to everyone here for what has happened. I want to commend the teamwork that we see being delivered here today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Donahue. Thank you for being here. I know it's a very busy time for you. Before I go on, I also wanted to thank and acknowledge my good colleague on the City Council, the chair of the Economic Development Committee, Bill Samaras, who always is reaching out to us at the university, constantly encouraging us to think about ways that the mayor referenced in commercialization, economic development, and community building. So thank you, Councilor William Samaras, for your good work. And I think also, I forget now who said, this is a great city. I think it was the mayor, because you can go to school here from kindergarten through to your doctorate degree, very uncommon. And we're fortunate to have a school committee in here representing the school committee today. I'd also like to thank Robert Gignac for being here with us. Thank you. And finally, there are so many things that make a community special and make it a community and differentiate it from other places. In this city, we are fortunate to have a great local newspaper that helps us to build our brand, that helps remind us about who we are and how important all of us are to this community. I would like to thank, for being here today, the editor of the Lowell Sun, Jim Campanini, and also a longtime contributor to the Lowell Sun, Kendall Wallace, and all things Lowell. Thank you both for all you do for this city. Of course, do I get extra points and good coverage with Rick if I acknowledge what a great writer he is? Kidding. But finally, on behalf of the university, I'm honored to welcome our next distinguished guest to the podium. Senator Edward Markey has championed the people of Massachusetts for more than 4 decades. During his time in the U.S. House of Representatives and in the Senate, Senator Markey has been a leading advocate of consumer rights with a heavy focus on telecommunications and energy and environmental issues. The senator has amassed an unparalleled record of legislative achievement. His policy focus has always been on fostering the growth of new technologies in these areas to encourage competition and increase consumer access and to improve the economy of the Commonwealth and the nation. We're thankful for his good work in leading the discussion on climate change, promoting investment in clean energy, and passing legislation to increase fuel efficiency standards, something that is critically important to all of us and something that we embrace as one of our pillars at this university. And of course, we're all supportive of his important efforts to declare the opioid overdose epidemic a national public health emergency, and we stand ready to assist in those efforts in any way that we can. As I mentioned earlier, Senator Markey was instrumental in helping Lowell to acquire the grant funding that we so desperately needed to repair and replace bridges across the city, an effort to which UMass Lowell is proud to be a contributor. And I have to give him a special thank you when we visit Washington, D.C. He is always so gracious in welcoming his constituents from Massachusetts, encouraging us to go ahead and advance our communities. Just a great friend to the university and to the city. Senator Edward Markey. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor, so much. And congratulations to you. Congratulations to the city of Lowell. This is an historic day. And I was just over at the hospital at another summit where the entire community that deals with opioids all came together, the police, the fire, the medical, the emergency response community. 70 people in a room, all part of a partnership here in Lowell. And it, in fact, has put together the model program for the whole country to begin to see a decline in the opioid epidemic here in the state of Massachusetts, but potentially across the whole country. It's a national model. And then to come over here for another partnership, working together collaboratively. And that's really what I learned back when I was elected to Congress during a period of time when they elected children. And I joined the Interior Committee, which it was then called, and I sat next to the young congressman from Lowell, Paul Tsongas, in 1977. And he introduced this idea to the committee for the first national urban park. And he explained how precious this history here, the birthplace of the American Industrial Revolution, was, but how also it could be beneficial in terms of economic growth in Lowell, as the areas that have national parks all across the country are. And so he argued that there should be a partnership between the federal government and the city of Lowell, in order to unleash all of this potential. Over the years, obviously, that has paid huge dividends, including this incredible growth in the University of Massachusetts at Lowell. And it is now a school that rivals any school in the world, where young people across the world now think about how they could go to school in Lowell, Massachusetts. It was a big concept, but concept, 20%, execution, 80%. It was executed as a plan by an entire community, by the university, working together with the community in order to make Lowell now this extremely special place. And so I want to congratulate you, Chancellor, and City Manager Murphy. Congratulations on this great achievement. And Mayor Kennedy and Senator Donahue, Representative Nangle, and everyone who is here who played a role in this incredible achievement. As Chancellor Maloney mentioned, About 3 years ago, Chancellor Meehan arrived with soon-to-be Chancellor Maloney to begin to talk about a big concept that City Manager Murphy was also interested in. And that was, how could all the bridges of Lowell be reconstructed? Because these Tiger grants are discretionary. And to unleash $10 million or $20 million that could come in and take these bridges and turn them into the magical means of transportation, which they could be for the 21st century, would require a partnership between the University of Lowell, the City of Lowell, and the federal government. So they came seeking my help in securing Tiger funding because it was a cause that they all passionately believed in. And the federal government calls this a Tiger grant. But I don't know what Tiger actually stands for, but with this project in Lowell, I think it really stands for totally invested in guaranteeing excellence for the Riverhawks, okay? T-I-G-E-R. And as these bridges are now reconstructed and made beautiful, I think it's going to really just add to this crown jewel quality that the university plays inside of this crown jewel of a city. Because it's smart investment, because we invest in our roads, our universities, our communities. We're investing also in the workers and industries that bridge the gap between the impossible and the remarkable, which is what is unfolding in this city. And if you think about it, the Tiger funding agreement is probably a first of its kind when a public university, a municipality, and the federal government all come together to solve a major public transportation infrastructure issue. In the same way that there's a first that's going to be signed here today, that also is a first in trying to think in a way that is creative enough to solve the problems of multiple important public institutions. And similar to the Tiger funding agreement, we are here to celebrate that other first of a kind agreement. And the federal-state partnership is reflected in this grant. It's exactly the kind of relationship that we want between the university and the City of Lowell in order to invest in the future of our students and their futures. So I am very proud to have worked with the great Nikki Songas in order to secure that, working with Elizabeth as well to advance that cause and to secure one of the very few Tiger grants that were given out nationally that year. But we are going to see the benefits of that for the entirety of the 21st century here in this great city that has been reborn as one of the great cities of our country and the world. Congratulations to everyone who is here tonight.
Senator Markey, you continue to inspire us with your great leadership. Thank you so much for all that you're doing in Washington, D.C. I can't resist. They could learn a little down there from the way we operate here in this city. A little more compromise, give and take.
From your lips to Donald Trump's ears.
But thank you so much for all that you do for this nation and your service. We need the kind of experienced leadership that only people like you can show. So thank you once again for representing this great Commonwealth and for being here with us today. We're honored by your presence. So in closing, we have all heard it. UMass Lowell, from the senator's lip, one of the fastest growing universities in the country, one of the fastest rising in the U.S. News and World Report. We are so honored to be welcomed by our city, and we are honored to be a part of this city. UMass Lowell contributes nearly UMass Lowell has nearly $1 billion impact on this great city and greater Lowell area. Nearly $1 billion impact. We'd like to make it too. And by signing this agreement today, we feel this will enable us to continue this great growth trajectory and continue this remarkable renaissance of this great city. So I ask the manager to join me so that we can have this signing. Thank you all for being here.